about application. So we explain to our audience for which kind, let's say, of medical health exactly is the Motus, and what end users gets with the Motus application. While we are still in the beginning, then later on we can come with other topics.
Yeah, okay. I will let Kenan explain that part because I think it's in his part of the presentation as well. So Kenan, the stage is yours.
Thank you. If you take a minute of your time right now in Google Stroke Recovery app, you will probably find a couple of them. This is good because if you do not have the competition, that probably means you don't have a target group or even need for your solution on the market. But that has never bothered us anyway because we have pretty solid unique selling points and differentiators from the competition on the market. I'll start with the SWOT analysis, highlighting our biggest competitors on the market, their strengths, and where does Motus Health comes in the end. So basically, our three biggest competitors on the market are Tactus Therapy, Vigo Health, and CT Therapy. Out of three mentioned competitors, two of them are not even on the European market, and this is really important because they are not regulated by European medical devices laws. This means that their solution is paid for by the customers themselves. And also, they're only focused on one area of stroke recovery, which does not fulfill all the needs of one stroke patients, which leads that patients download multiple different apps, adjust to different interfaces, and pay for each and every single one of them. This results in patient frustration and leads to increase in cost of total. While we at Motus Health have one goal, and that is to provide everything a patient and his caretaker need in one place. And after the process of certification, clinical trials, and medical device registration, our customers will be patients, while the payers will be insurance companies. As we briefly mentioned before, Motus Health MVP is purely focused on B2C sales, where our target group is patients and their caregivers. Our market and our startup headquarters are located in Germany because they have such a great system for handling digital healthcare apps. The thing we want to speak here a little bit more is DIGA, which allows reimbursements for digital healthcare apps from insurance companies and allows medical professionals to prescribe the apps to the patients. Currently, our B2C market has over 80 million stroke survivors worldwide who are suffering from the consequences of stroke. While the incidence rate is still going up, and it's expected that every year there are 14 million more stroke each year. As we said in the beginning, it's not Motus Health is not only focused on stroke patients and their caregiver, but only and with their caregivers, which leaves our MVP in access to more than 200,000 users in the German-speaking countries. Now I will talk a bit more about problems our users are facing and how does Motus solves them all. So basically, the first problem and one of the biggest reasons Motus Health came to life is stroke recovery during COVID pandemic. During the COVID pandemic, we encountered a talk with more than 100 different stroke patients who didn't have access to proper medical care or help. And that's how we shaped our first business plan and came up with the slogan, stroke recovery from the comfort of your own home. The second problem is the whole cost of the rehabilitation process. And I want to highlight this problem with a study done by the World Stroke Organization that says that only 10% of stroke patients achieve maximal results from rehabilitation, as it's often delayed, expensive, or inadequate. And we are hopeful that the Motus app can change and improve those numbers. Third problem, that family is not being included enough in the recovery process. By the Motus Health, by creating a caregiver interface, we are not only improving the relationship quality of the family members, but we are including the patient's family in each of the steps of the recovery journey. And the fourth problem we encountered is the lack of digital solutions in the stroke market. Current solutions on the market are really, really specific. Either they are too advanced for the stroke patients, or they might even be good when the patient downloads them, but they do not challenge him during his whole recovery process or even adapt to his improvements. Also, a lot of markets do not have access to even basic apps because they were never meant to be internationalized, which leaves most of the patients struggling with digital solutions on the market, all because of the language barriers. I hope I gave a pretty good explanation about problems we are trying to solve, and now I will go and explain how does Motus Health respond to each and every one of them. So the first thing that we want to say about Motus Health is it is developed and designed by medical professionals and stroke survivors. Since the initial idea of Motus Health, there were numerous medical experts who validated and gave their contribution to our product. Currently, we have 6 medical advisors who are working on further expanding the Motus features and scalability. Second solution that we provide to our users is personalized therapy with the help of AI. As every stroke patient is a case on its own, we are developing an algorithm with the help of AI that will allow our customers to get personalized therapy based on their initial results and needs, with the goal to make Motus available to use for any type of stroke and a stage of stroke recovery. Third solution we are trying to solve with Motus Health is that we can reduce the cost of the rehabilitation process, because one of our unique selling points is that for one price of session with speech pathologist or even physiotherapist, patients can get up to 3 months of Motus subscription. Then we are planning to do a clinical trials all across Europe in order to prove the quality and impact it has on stroke patients, which will allow us to state the fact that we are actually speeding up the recovery time. And the last thing, because we want to keep our patients safe, especially during the pandemic time, we encountered dozens of stroke patients and caregivers that were left without adequate medical care. Because of the pandemic regulations and inability to enter hospitals, one of our key goals is to create a whole ecosystem for stroke patients where all of the communication, drug and recovery plan prescription, tracking the improvement would be done and visible over our platform, which will be beneficial to all stroke patients while improving their well-being and reducing the chances of infection that can be fatal.